Human history is filled with brutal conflicts fought for resources, freedom, and empire. But occasionally, nations deploy actual armies and heavy artillery for reasons so incredibly absurd they defy all logic. Today, we are uncovering the 3 most ridiculous wars ever fought, featuring a military defeat by flightless birds, a medieval bloodbath over a bucket, and a naval invasion triggered by pastries. First stop, Australia, 1932. The Great Depression is crippling the nation. Farmers are desperate, and the government suddenly declares war on an army of 20,000 migrating emus. These massive birds were destroying vital wheat crops and tearing down anti-rabbit fences. Instead of using local pest control, the government deployed the actual Australian military. Commanded by Major Meredith, soldiers armed with 2 heavy Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition marched out, expecting an effortless massacre of wild animals. But the emus developed brilliant guerrilla tactics. They split into tiny, stealthy groups, rendering the heavy, stationary machine guns completely useless across the vast desert terrain. Desperate, the army mounted a machine gun onto a moving truck. It failed instantly because the rough, bumpy terrain made it impossible for the soldiers to aim a single shot. Furthermore, emus are incredibly durable. Their thick feathers act as armor, allowing them to absorb multiple bullet hits and keep sprinting away at 40 miles per hour. After firing over 2,500 rounds of ammunition, the military killed less than 50 birds. Major Meredith famously stated that emus could face machine guns like tanks. Humiliated by global media mockery, the defense minister ordered a total retreat. The army officially surrendered, leaving the emus as undisputed winners of the war. Next, we travel to medieval Italy in the year 1325, where a violent, bloody conflict erupted between 2 rival city-states over a piece of cheap garbage. The cities of Bologna and Modena had a fierce, long-standing political rivalry, waiting for any minor provocation to launch an all-out assault against each other. One night, a few stealthy soldiers from Modena snuck into Bologna and stole an ordinary wooden bucket from the main public water well in the city center. Bologna considered this petty prank a catastrophic blow to their national pride. They furiously demanded the immediate return of the bucket, threatening total warfare if refused. Modena openly laughed at the threat and put the bucket on display. Enraged, Bologna mobilized an enormous army of 32,000 professional infantrymen. Modena could only gather 7,000 soldiers to defend their territory, resulting in a massive numbers disparity as the 2 forces clashed at the Battle of Zapolino. Despite being completely outnumbered 4-1, Modena's army used superior cavalry tactics, completely crushing Bologna's forces and killing over 2,000 men. Modena kept the bucket, and it remains on display in their cathedral tower to this very day as a permanent monument to historical pride and vanity. Finally, we look at the year 1838, when a full-scale international military invasion of Mexico was triggered entirely by some ruined, looted pastries. A French pastry chef named Monsieur Remontel owned a small bakery near Mexico City. During a violent riot, hungry Mexican military officers looted his shop. The officers ate all his cakes and destroyed the property. When the Mexican government refused to pay for damages, Remontel wrote a desperate letter to the King of France. The chef demanded an astronomical 60,000 pesos, which France inflated to 600,000. For context, an average Mexican worker earned just 1 peso per day. Mexico rejected the absurd demand. France, eager to flex its imperial power, sent an entire Royal Navy fleet to blockade and bombard the city of Veracruz. The Pastry War escalated rapidly, claiming hundreds of casualties. The famous General Santa Anna even came out of retirement, where a French cannonball severed his left leg. In an ultimate twist of eccentricity, Santa Anna later held a literal state funeral for his amputated leg, burying it with full official military honors. British diplomats eventually intervened, forcing Mexico to pay the full 600,000 pesos. The French fleet withdrew, and the baker finally got his money. To recap this trilogy of historical madness, humanity has officially deployed advanced weaponry and sacrificed thousands of lives over wild emus, a wooden bucket, and a handful of stolen bakery cakes. These bizarre events prove that throughout history, human ego, pride, and political greed are far more dangerous catalysts for conflict than actual logical threats. Hit that subscribe button right now to unlock more uncensored, mind-blowing facts about human history, dark psychology, and the hidden anomalies of our world. Now, let's settle this in the comments. Which of these 3 wars do you think is the absolute peak of human stupidity? Drop your thoughts below, stay curious, and see you next time.